Subaru Natsuki has died hundreds of times, and every time he comes back he remembers. He dies and comes back and the whole thing starts over. The suffering is real, but it has a purpose. Every death is a clue and every return is a chance. But what happens to a person who dies over and over again and nobody around them knows it's happening? There's a psychological breaking point called derealization. But derealization sneaks up on you, and it does not announce itself. One loop it is fine, and then one day it is not. Subaru has been dying since season 1. Episodes 8 and 9 are what that breaking point looks like from the inside. And then something writes his name on his own hand. And everything you thought you understood about 4 seasons of ReZero stops being reliable. Return by Death has always looked functional from the outside. Subaru dies, comes back, gets further, and across 4 seasons you get used to trusting that rhythm. But the research on repeated trauma is consistent. At some point, the mind stops processing the experience and starts pulling away from it entirely. It's not like a decision, just as the only thing left it can do. So think about what Subaru has actually been carrying. 4 seasons of dying and walking up and functioning like nothing happened. 4 seasons of holding information that would destroy everyone around him if they knew. And nobody, not a single person across those 4 seasons, knows what that accumulation actually costs. Episode 8 is where the cost arrives. He loses his memories, gets pushed down the tower stairwell, and the show does not cut away. We see the fall and the gore and then the reset like nothing happened. And then it happens again. Each loop bleeding into the next without the anchor of memory that made previous loops survivable. He's just dying in a tower he cannot leave and he has no idea why he even came. This is where ReZero does something most anime do not attempt. Derealization has a specific visual signature. Sounds distort, images disconnect, the sequence of events stops making sense, and episode 8 and 9 are edited exactly like that. Cuts to black that do not land where you expect, sound bleeding across cuts that should be clean. The show is putting you inside it rather than showing it to you. So you are not watching from outside, you are in it with him. And Higurashi does the same thing with Keiichi Maebara across its question arcs. And this is why that comparison goes deeper than just some vibe. Keiichi goes through loop after loop where reality gradually stops holding its shape. The village looks the same and the people behave the same, but the texture of it has gone wrong. And the horror comes from realizing you have been inside a perspective that was already breaking and you had no way to know. And then Subaru overhears the group talking. He has no memory of who these people are to him. The relationships that would let him read that conversation differently are gone. So what he hears fills with threat instead of care. And he says it out loud. If he cannot escape, he will kill them all. But we cannot verify what he actually heard. And that is not a gap in the writing. Keiichi does the same thing. He overhears fragments and misreads them. And because you are inside his perspective, you have no way to check whether what he heard was real or already distorted by a mind coming apart. So when Subaru's mind fills that conversation with threat, you genuinely cannot tell whether that is a rational conclusion or derealization finishing what the loop started. And the show, the anime, does not tell you either. One loop in episode 9, Subaru keeps the memory loss secret, gathers information carefully, stays controlled, and almost holds it together. But watch what the show does before the reveal lands. Subaru walking up the stairs, eyes lost in the shadow, with movement which looks almost mechanical and soulless, like the body is operating on something that is not him. The show is planting the gap before it shows you what happened inside it. And when Meili turns up dead a few minutes later with marks on her neck, you already watched the moment. You just did not know what you were watching. Meili whispers something in his ear. Screen cuts black. And when it comes back, Meili is gone. And written on his own hand, Natsuki Subaru was here. He has no memory of it. Something used his body while he was inside it and signed its work with his name. Clinically, depersonalization is described as watching yourself as an actor in a movie, the body moving while the self observes from somewhere outside. And episode 9 makes that literal. The body moved and something acted, and the person who was supposed to be home inside it has no idea what happened. But the part that should unsettle you goes beyond the episode itself. Return by Death was built on one assumption, that Subaru is always present inside the loop, that the space between death and return belongs to him. But if something can operate his body in those gaps, then every loop across 4 seasons had a version of him you did not see. Every moment the camera was elsewhere, and every reset you watched and trusted as a clean slate. You trusted the record, and episode 9 just showed you it was never really complete. 4 seasons of dying taught him how to survive the reset, but nobody really prepared him for what was living in the loop with him. The arc is called the Lost Arc, and what episodes 8 and 9 are doing goes beyond plot. It is what it feels like when the sequence breaks and the body moves without the person inside it, and the record you trusted turns out to be incomplete. ReZero has always used death as a mechanic, and these episodes are what happens when that mechanic stops being functional and becomes something closer to psychological horror. Higurashi built its entire question arc structure around this same mechanism, and ReZero built to it across 4 seasons. If you notice the figure standing behind Subaru that looked like Ram, drop your read in the comments, because whatever is living in those loops with him, it is not done yet. Full season 4 playlist will be on the screen. Thank you so much for watching, for your support, for your feedback, the positive, the negative. I'm always looking at all of it and trying to improve. Soon my exam season will be done, so hopefully we will kick off more videos soon. And one more teaser, trailer, whatever you want to call it. I'm working on a Chainsaw Man video, and I think you will like it. Thank you so much, and I'll see you soon.